From the brains behind Brains On, it's Smash, Boom, Best.
The show for people with big opinions.
Hello, I'm Molly Bloom, and this is Smash, Boom, Best, the show where we take two things, smash them together, and ask you to decide which one is best. Today, two epic landforms are battling it out in a geological prize fight that's going to rock your world. Our first contestant, at 1.154 miles deep and 277 miles long, hailing from northern Arizona, is the Grand Canyon. And our second contestant, at 5.4979 miles high and over 60 million years old, straddling the border between China and Nepal, is Mount Everest. Which one of these stony-faced sluggers is going to win this showdown?
Mount Everest is for people who are daring and adventurous.
Grand Canyon, because in Minnesota it's really cold, and I think it would be really nice in the desert.
Anyone could go to Grand Canyon, but not everyone can go to Mount Everest.
Grand Canyon is for family trips.
Mount Everest because snow is better than desert heat.
Who will take home first prize in today's Smash Boom battle? The gorgeous Grand Canyon or massive Mount Everest? To help us decide, we've called Elena into the studio to be our judge. Hi, Elena.
Hi.
So, what do you know about the Grand Canyon?
That it's very hot and that it is huge. Absolutely huge. My grandparents go there every year.
You might even call it grand. And
Yes,
now,
grand.
what about Mount Everest? Have you seen any pictures of it before?
Yes.
And do you already have an opinion which one is the Smash Boom best, Mount Everest or Grand Canyon?
The Grand Canyon because it's very warm and I do not like cold.
So it's a weather thing for you right
Yeah.
now. All right. Well, do you get into debates much with your family or friends?
My mom sometimes. We were very competitive.
So what do you find yourself arguing about with your mom?
You don't let's say I'm touching a railing on an escalator. My mom would say something like, Elena, don't touch that. You have no idea how many people have touched that. And I said, yeah, but you have no idea how many people who haven't touched that. So
You're just throwing some facts at her. So that is very cool. So now let's introduce our debaters here to represent the ginormous, the gargantuan, the gigundo Grand Canyon is Shayna Montanari.
Hey!
Shayna, in one sentence, why is the Grand Canyon the Smash Boom best?
18 miles wide, 1 mile deep, all amazing.
And here to introduce the mega, the mammoth, the monumental Mount Everest is Kasha Patel. Hi, Kasha.
Hello.
And Kasha, one sentence. Why is Mount Everest the coolest?
People will be so much more impressed if you say you climb Mount Everest than just hike the Grand Canyon.
Ooh, okay, I should have talked a little more smack.
You will have plenty of opportunity for smack talking in just a bit. So, we will have 4 rounds of debate. Our first round is the Declaration of Greatness, where both contestants do an in-depth exploration of all the history, facts, and lore you need to know about their side. Round 2 is the Micro Round, a creative challenge the debaters have prepared for in advance. The third round is the Sneak Attack, a surprise challenge for our debaters. They don't know what's coming, so they've got to think on their feet. The fourth and final round is the Final Six. In this round, our debaters have one last chance to sway the judge, and they only get 6 words to do it. After each round, Elena will award a point to either side, and all you listeners at home, we want you to judge this battle too. So find something to keep score on, and we'll let you know when it's time to award a point. All right, debaters, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Oh yeah, ready.
Elena, are you ready to do this?
I am ready.
Okay, buckle up for the first round of this Smash Boom battle.
Declaration of Greatness.
Both of our debaters have trained long and hard for this debate. We flipped a coin, and Shayna is up first. Ready, Shayna?
Oh yeah, ready to go.
Tell us why the Grand Canyon rocks.
You hear that? Silence. Not just because the Grand Canyon in Arizona is a vast, unspoiled wilderness, which it is, but silence because the Grand Canyon is so great, it is almost impossible to describe. Take it from John Wesley Powell, one of the first geologists who explored it in 1869.
The wonders of the Grand Canyon cannot adequately be represented in symbols of speech, nor by speech itself.
But what about just taking a photo, John?
The resources of the graphic art are taxed beyond their powers in attempting to portray its features.
That may sound dramatic, but I think he's right. The first time I saw the Grand Canyon 10 years ago, I thought it looked quiet and surreal, like a larger-than-life oil painting. It was so different than anything I'd ever seen before, I felt like I was on another planet. Picture this. An 18-mile wide, 1 mile deep opening in the ground carved into permanently sunset-colored rocks. It formed around 5 million years ago thanks to the Colorado River and all of its tributaries. They drained off high-elevation plateaus for millions of years and over time wore down the rocks, like way down, making deep canyons and the most jaw-dropping scenery along the way. The Grand Canyon has been inhabited by Native Americans for thousands of years, but the canyon walls represent something even more ancient. Let's take a tour. Hi everyone, I'm your tour guide. Let's take a stroll into the canyon. As you hike down this slope, you'll see on your right the shelly remains of a 270-million-year-old sea creature from the Permian period. As we continue on, you'll see the tiny footprints of long-extinct reptiles pressed into the rock. Sadly, these are animals that likely didn't survive the greatest mass extinction in history. Down here, there are 340-million-year-old trilobites that cruise the ocean floor like Roombas.
Hey, Dad, can I have a trilobite?
Well, maybe when you're older, kiddo.
As we get closer to the bottom, you can see limestone rocks that were formed in this very spot 500 million years ago when the Arizona desert was unrecognizable, made up of shallow, salty lagoons. Once you finally hit the bottom, you end up at the Colorado River, surrounded by nearly 2 billion-year-old rocks, which are the crystalline remnants of long-extinct volcanoes. There is almost nowhere else on the planet you can take a stroll through the timeline of life except in the Grand Canyon. It's the best time machine available in the world. Move over, TARDIS. Okay, the tour is over for today. Time to hike back up to the top. If you're thinking, man, I want to spend more time in this amazing place, you're not alone. Over 90 species of mammals and 47 species of reptiles call this canyon home. Some can only be found here. There are bats, bison, hogs, mountain lions, and if you're lucky, you might even spot an elk lumbering around at the rim. It is also a place where you can see one of the rarest birds in the United States, the majestic California condor. Be careful where you step, though. Carefully camouflaged short-horned lizards could be hiding underfoot, or maybe even a rattlesnake, but you usually hear those before you see them. If all this sounds too amazing to miss, you're in luck. The Grand Canyon is incredibly easy to visit. Over 6 million people a year can visit the Grand Canyon, much easier to get to than, say, a super hard-to-reach, extremely dangerous mountain. This year, the Grand Canyon celebrates its 100th birthday as an official national park. President Teddy Roosevelt visited Arizona and the Grand Canyon for the first time in 1903, proclaiming it one of the great places every American should see. It's got something for everyone, too. You can snap a shot at the rim, raft the Colorado River, or hike all the way from one side to the other. If you aren't afraid of heights and you're feeling brave, you can even visit the Grand Canyon Skywalk, a glassy walkway that is suspended 4,000 feet above the floor of the canyon. But while you're there, be sure to put down your camera, forget the perfect Insta shot, and just take it all in. Because as author Bill Bryson said, nothing prepares you for the Grand Canyon.
A very convincing case for Grand Canyons there. So, Elena, what caught your attention in Shayna's argument?
I think it was really good because, as she said, it was like very quiet and peaceful, which some people may need. I do like me some animals.
Which animals she mentioned seemed one you'd want to see the most?
I would like to see the bird, the rare bird.
Very cool. Okay, Kasha, you have 30 seconds to counter Shayna's statement.
Oh boy, only 30 seconds. Okay.
And your time starts now.
Okay, Shayna said the Grand Canyon is impossible to describe. I've been there and I can describe it in one word: boring. It's just a bunch of old rocks. It's literally the rock you walk outside, you see, they're like, oh, that's the same one that's in the Grand Canyon. And she says that it's so accessible to people. All that means is there's more tourists. It's really not that quiet unless you go really far down in there. And then once you're down there, yeah, it's not so easy just to climb back up. It takes days to climb back up. And also, yeah, there might be some birds and bats and bison there.
Wow.
But it's not as cool as what you can find in the Mount Everest.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Fighting words.
It is accessible, which is a good thing, and it is, but then yes, okay, it's touristy, but that's, I would say, is a good thing, because more people should see the Grand Canyon, because it's a beautiful geologic wonder that we don't get to see, most of the time when we're just, living our lives in big cities.
I've seen pictures. It's the same.
Kasha, it is time for your declaration of greatness. Leave no stone unturned. Why is Mount Everest the most excellent of elephantine landforms? Kasha, go.
Okay, listen up, Elena, because I'm going to tell you one of the most impressive things that humans can do. Climb the Great Mount Everest. Let's get in the zone with some appropriate training music. No, excuse me. That's the training music if you're trying to hike something easier, like the Grand Canyon. I want the Mount Everest training music. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, much better. Climbing Mount Everest. Only half the people who attempt it actually make it because it's the highest point in the world. Hundreds of people have died trying this, and it takes at least a year of training to build up your physical strength, cardiovascular system, and tolerance at really high altitudes. And when you're up there, it's hard to breathe. At its peak, Mount Everest is 29,000 feet above sea level, and on your way to the top, the amount of oxygen decreases fast. So you definitely need to bring your own oxygen supply. You're also hiking in sub-zero temperatures and risk getting hit with winds greater than 100 miles per hour. That's the same wind speed found in some major hurricanes. You also have to poop on the side of a mountain for 2 months while you're hiking. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth would anyone want to go all the way to Nepal and go through such a long process just to climb a really tall mountain? First off, it's like the ultimate physical and mental test for humans. In 1953, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay made history. They were the first people to climb it. Hillary was a beekeeper from New Zealand, and Norgay was a Sherpa, which is one of the native ethnic groups in that area of Nepal. Every year, highly skilled Sherpas help many people to the top by preparing the route, carrying climbing gear, and fixing ropes in place. And you're not too young to climb Mount Everest if you train properly. There was a 13-year-old boy and girl who made it to the top. Some people have even done this with amputated legs. That is impressive. Second, Mount Everest is more than a mountain. You're climbing a moment of history, frozen literally. You may remember how mountains are formed through plate tectonics. Basically, you have these big land masses that collide. When two land masses run into each other, one pushes into the other, rises up, and scrunches together. Think about if you have two toy cars and you ram them into each other. One is going to go on top of the other and rise into the air. That's kind of how Mount Everest was formed. Over 60 million years ago, the landmass that contains present-day India was drifting north towards Eurasia. This Indian plate acted like a bulldozer and kept pushing, and the land crumbled and folded to create the Himalayan mountain range. It is just one of several mountains in the Himalayas, but it is the most notable. This is like the Shaquille O'Neal of mountains, both because of its impressiveness and tallness.
Can you dig it?
And on your way to the top of Mount Everest, you won't see much wildlife because cold. But the wildlife you do see is pretty cool, like snow leopards, red pandas, and the Himalayan black bears. Also, fun fact, in Tibetan, the mountain is called Mount Kamalungma, which means holy mountain, and is just a fun word to say. Try it. Kamalungma.
Kalamangwa.
Kamalungma.
Kamalungma.
Kamalungma. Just like Shaquille O'Neal is no longer the greatest basketball player, shout out to LeBron, Mount Everest might also be in trouble. Cue the public service announcement music. For millions of years, Mount Everest has been standing at the tallest point in the world, but it might just be in trouble now because of climate change. Temperatures around the world are rising and actually melting the snow on Mount Everest. If this continues, perhaps more than 2/3 of Himalayan glaciers could melt by year 2100, which would cause a lot of flooding and crop damage. But to me, that just adds to why it's so special. It appears like this giant, formidable natural wonder, but it has vulnerabilities just like me and you. If you want an adventure that's beautiful, difficult, and elusive, nothing else compares to Mount Everest, or Mount Kamalungma.
Wow, thank you, Kasha. So, Elena, what are a few things that stood out for you in Kasha's declaration?
I liked the animals a lot. Like, I've really been wanting to see red pandas and snow leopards, so it'd be really cool.
All right, Shayna, you have got 30 seconds to respond to Kasha, and your time starts now.
1, the greatest basketball player of all time was Michael Jordan. 2, the greatest human accomplishment. I mean, I don't want to die on my vacation. As you said, so many people died trying to climb Mount Everest. A lot of people don't actually make it. And the worst part is that if you die on Mount Everest, they just leave your body there. And then it comes to a frozen popsicle. And also, as you mentioned, there's not as many cool animals, although the ones that are there are pretty cool, but there's just not as many cool animals to see. You probably won't even see them because most of them are going extinct now because of climate change.
Time.
Ah, darn it. I had another good burn.
Too bad.
So many burns they couldn't fit into 30 seconds. All right, Elena, I don't envy you the decision you have to make, but now it's time to award a point to either Grand Canyon or Team Mount Everest. Don't tell us out loud who you're awarding it to, but mark it down on your score sheet. Have you awarded a point?
Yes, I have.
This is nerve-wracking.
Well, was it a hard decision, Elena?
Yes.
Shayna and Kasha are not making your job easy today. Well, listeners, what about you? Have you made up your mind? If not, you can always press pause, take more time to think about it. Debaters, we're going to give you a moment to catch your breath after all that hiking.
Stay tuned because we'll be back with some more Smash Boom Best.
You're watching State of Debate, home to rage and rhetoric and awe-inspiring argumentation.
Taylor Lincoln here with 6-time debate champ Todd Douglas, and we just happened upon a piano and a ukulele arguing about which one of them is the better instrument.
Ooh, it's a tough call, Taylor.
You can say that again.
It's a tough call, Taylor.
Todd, we've talked about this. Anyway, let's hear it.
I'm really easy to learn. Anyone can play the ukulele, which means I'm the coolest and most accessible instrument in the world.
No way! The piano's the coolest instrument in the world because it's incredibly versatile. In fact, I just talked to the conductor of my school orchestra about it. She's been teaching music for 25 years. She plays ukulele and piano, and she said,
"The piano is a wonderful instrument because it's used in all genres of music. It helps musicians visualize and understand music theory, and whatever key you hit is what you get. You don't have to spend months trying to perfect your tone before you can make it sound nice."
Dun, 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 dun. That piano used an awesome debate tactic here, Todd. It's a great idea to use an expert opinion to help make your case.
Yep, that ukulele had trouble bouncing back from that one. He didn't have any expert opinions handy.
Well, that pen over there agrees with me. She said, ukuleles are fun!
Woo-wee, that was a stinker. He tried to counter an expert opinion with a regular old opinion, much less convincing.
Too true. That pin may think ukuleles are fun, but she has no music credentials. That didn't help the ukulele's argument at all.
You can say that again.
That didn't help the ukulele's argument at all.
That is Todd Douglas, really? Anyway, always make sure the person behind your expert opinion is a trustworthy expert.
Now go get them, debate heads, and we'll catch you next time on State of Debate.
Smash, boom, best.
This is Smash Boom Best, the show about showdowns. Like, have you ever thought about who would win this battle?
My debate idea is narwhals versus sloths.
That matchup idea was sent to us by Zofia from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We'll give her a call at the end of the show to see who she thinks would win. All right, let's get back to our smash boom battle of the day, Grand Canyon versus Mount Everest. Our Colossal Canyon and our Mondo Mountain are playing hardball. So get ready, because it's time for our imaginative challenge,
Micro Round.
This week's micro round challenge is a sonnet slam. Each contestant has been instructed to prepare a sonnet about their side in advance of this debate. Sonnet means little song in Italian, and it's a 14-line poem. Shayna went first in the last round, so Kasha will have you take the lead in this one. Let's hear your terrific tribute to the great Mount Everest.
Grand Mountain, you inspire me to write. I love the way you tower over land, testing hikers all day and through the night. 60 million years, you remain and stand. Let me compare you to a Grand Canyon? Those boring rocks are just decomposing. You are a daredevil's dream companion. You're more imposing, made from bulldozing. How are you greater? Let me count the ways. I love your noble, cold, snowy, tall build. Conquering you takes more than 30 days. So many people's bucket list you filled. There's nothing greater than Mount Everest. Anyone who agrees is the cleverest.
Oh, very nicely done.
That is good.
Shayna, let's hear your rapturous rhymes about the Grand Canyon.
Channel Shakespeare. Okay, here we go. The sun rises and lights up the red walls. Juniper, sagebrush, and old pinyon pine. Over in the trees, a spotted owl calls. The rocks, although dusty, all seem to shine. Empty canyon, water carving through space. The quiet, it will leave you so breathless. Feel peace in this magical, tranquil place. The view so still, it almost seems endless. Stroll through history with proper footwear, and if you don't want to walk the whole way, you can always ride a donkey down there. There are hooves on the dirt path, clip, clop, and splay. This ancient canyon, so deep and so wide, the world's population can fit inside.
Whoa. That was
deep.
That was some deep, literally.
That was deep. That was wow, that was really nice.
I'm just going to say those donkeys are kind of weak. They're not as stable as you think they are. At least on Mount Everest, you have to use your own 2 feet to walk. You don't get help from an animal that you force to help you.
Mm-hmm. Oh. The donkeys are having fun. They like it.
Oh, did you ask the donkeys?
Yeah, did you ask
them? They like it. They're my friends.
Elena, listeners at home, take a moment to consider both sonnets.
Wow.
It's hard to decide. They were both very beautiful, excellent rhymes.
They were deep.
They were deep and tall and wide and grand, all the things. Can you award a point to whoever you think did this smash boom best? Just mulling it over.
It's hard.
Go with your gut.
I made my decision.
She has made her decision.
Boom, 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 smash, boom, best.
Well, it is time for the next round, which is our
Sneak Attack.
The sneak attack is a total surprise. Shayna and Kasha don't have any idea what it's going to be. Are you ready to hear your sneak attack round?
I'm so nervous right now.
Your surprise sneak attack is forbidden letter.
Ooh.
We need you to tell us 5 awesome things about your side, but you can't use the first letter of your side in any of the words and phrases you use to describe it. For example, if my side was team cake, I wouldn't be able to use the letter C. So I might say, birthday dessert, moist and sweet, frosting is the best, every bite heaven, give me more. No letter C there.
Oh, that's hard.
The first one I could think of is M.
Yeah, it's like, don't think about it. You have to think about it.
It's like, don't think of a pink elephant right now. That's all I can think of right now.
Exactly. We'll give you a minute to make your list, and we'll play some lovely hold music while we're waiting.
Mount Everest in China. If you need help, then ask a Sherpa. 29,029 feet high. Oh my! Grand Canyon colored like the sun. 277 miles of fun. Colorado River is the reason it's so deep.
Shayna, Kasha, are you ready?
Yes.
Yep. Ready to roll.
All right, Shayna, you are up first. Let's hear your list of awesome things about the Grand Canyon. And remember, no letter G.
Okay, 5 things.
5 things.
Here we go. Old rocks are so awesome. Really cool animals. You can sleep in a tent and make s'mores. Lovely, pristine wilderness. And super fun family vacation.
Nice work. I did not hear a letter G in there at all. And those are all very compelling.
Very nice.
Reasons for why it's cool.
Very nice.
Family vacation is subjective. My family and I went, and it was not fantastic.
It was super fun.
The Grand Canyon was okay, but my brother was not.
I don't have any siblings, so maybe I'm biased.
You can have one of mine.
All right, Kasha, let's hear your list of superlatives for Mount Everest. No M's allowed.
Okay. Number 1, biggest trip you'll ever do in your life. 2, exquisite, exceptional, elegant. 3, grander than a canyon. 4, greeted by snow leopards and red pandas. And 5, bragging rights forever. You can get knighted from hiking it.
Whoa,
that,
nice
That is
work.
very nice.
It's compelling. Most of it.
Elena, what did you like about those lists of words?
I liked how on Mount Everest they said grander than a Grand Canyon.
Oh,
that was very nice.
Snap.
Epic roast.
What about Grand Canyon? What stuck
I like
out
the Grand Canyon because I just like the way she described it.
Aww.
That was nice. Thank you. Thank you, Elena.
You have a much softer, more pleasant voice than me.
This will be very hard.
It's a hard decision, but it's time to decide. Mark down who you think won that round.
I am marking it down now, making a good check mark.
A good, strong check mark for one of the sides. All right, listeners at home, you too mark down your point for whoever you think won this sneak attack round.
Best. Smash. Smash.
Best. All right, we are almost at the end of this Herculean battle, but each side still has one more chance to impress. It's time for...
The final 6.
The final 6.
Exactly. All right, Kasha, it's all you.
Okay. Can I preface something before I give my final 6?
Of course.
I would just like to say that, yes, I agree Michael Jordan is a fantastic basketball player, but he's not as tall as Shaquille O'Neal.
That doesn't mean he's still the GOAT. Michael Jordan's the GOAT.
Yeah, but he's not as tall. He wouldn't be like a Mount Everest. Like, he's very impressive. He would be a Himalayan, but he's just not as tall as Mount Everest. So keep that in mind. This is my final 6. The Shaquille O'Neal of all mountains.
Excellent.
Yes.
I see why you had to do that explanation.
All right, Shayna, your turn.
Okay. I have no preface to this. Just gonna say it. Just gonna come out and say it. Much more than just a hole.
See, you're insinuating people think it is just a hole, which means you have to fight the stereotype for that.
I feel like I've adequately fought the stereotypes already, and I'm reminding them that it's much more than just a hole.
I feel like it's still just a bunch of rocks.
As are you.
I'm a rock? Oh, Mount Everest. I thought you were talking about me personally. I'm like, you didn't see me.
I could see you. You're not
Now
a rock.
it's getting personal.
Both sides came to win today. Elena, it is time to award your final point.
Oh, God, this is going to be hard. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
sorry.
We'll get it.
It's okay.
Whatever the result is, we'll be fine.
Yes.
We just won't be friends after this.
Yeah.
It's just a game.
Unless I win, then I'll be her friend. Yeah.
Elena, have you marked your final point?
Yes, I have.
Oh, that is a very fierce check mark that's being made right now.
Uh-oh.
This is the final check mark. So it will be a check mark, and then it will have a smiley face at the end.
Perfect. All right, Elena, which side won?
The winner is Mount Everest.
That was the worst rejection I've ever received.
That's okay. Shayna, you get a participation trophy.
Yes,
you get
that was the worst.
Yes.
That's fine.
That was brutal rejection, but it's okay.
Yes, it was just really hard. Mount Everest only won by 1 point.
It was very close.
It was very hard.
All right.
A win is a win.
It's true. Win is a win.
So I really like the Grand Canyon, how you said it was very peaceful, and it was just like, it was peaceful and it was very beautiful, and there were like rare birds and there were animals, and I love that. That's like, sounds super cool. And then when Mount Everest came in, and it was like, I could climb it at my age, and then it was in China, and if I've always wanted to go to China, so I would be able to go there, and then I'd be able to go climb it, and then I'll just be back like, hi.
It's a little bit of a personal appeal there.
And then the wild animals in both of the places made it really hard for the first one.
Mount Everest, despite the fact that there's a lot of dead icy bodies up there, I was convinced at its greatness. Also, I like its geology a lot, so I was won over by that, the plate tectonics description.
I will say the Grand Canyon is really pretty. I went for a Christmas family vacation, and I haven't gone since I was a little girl, and I was so excited to go. And I did joke around saying it is just a bunch of really boring rocks, but those are some really cool, boring rocks, let me tell you.
Well, both debaters did an excellent job today, but Elena has declared Mount Everest the winner. But listeners, how about you? That's it for the sensational showdown. Smash Boom Best is a creation of the people at Brains On and American Public Media.
It's produced by Mark Sanchez, Sandon Totten, Molly Bloom, Alyssa Dudley, and Rosie DuPont.
We had engineering help from Cameron Wiley and Robert Frazier.
And we had production help from Manika Wilhelm, Christina Lopez, and Lauren D.
We want to give a special thanks to Justin Koo, Austin Cross, Taylor Kaufman, Luis Arias, and Gabriela Torres. Kasha, is there anyone you want to thank today?
I'd like to thank the Academy, my parents, Google. Really, I'd like to thank Google for helping me out here. And I'd like to thank all of you guys. And I'd like to thank Elena for choosing the right way.
Well, okay. All right, that's fine.
And also thank you to Shayna for being a good sport.
And what about you, Shayna? Anyone you want to thank?
I would like to thank geology for the beautifulness that is Grand Canyon, and also Kasha for being a great debate partner.
And how about you, Elena? Any shout-outs you want to give?
I would like to give a shout-out to Miss Molly and our two competitors. That was super hard.
You did not make it easy for Elena today, for sure. Before we go, let's call up Sophia. She is the listener who suggested the narwhals versus sloths debate.
I think sloths would win because they can climb super tall trees and they can swim really well. Also, they have a cute smile.
Thanks for that great suggestion, Sophia. That's it for this episode of Smash Boom Best. We'll be back soon with another debate battle.
Bye. See ya. Adios.
If it's cold, you can always put on more clothing. There's only so many clothes you can take off if you're too warm. That's all I'm going to say.